Good evening, everybody. This is Born Political Thursday night, and I always say I'm excited, but you know what time of year it is. Joe Dela Cruz, I'm involved in politics here and there, but there is nothing that gets me more excited than local politics. I know the numbers don't prove it. You would think that the president was the most important thing in our country in these big elections with senators. But honestly and truthfully, the most important election that's going to affect all of us are our local elections. Tonight, I have a candidate that is running for the city of Groton mayor. A town council currently right now has served our community very, very well. I'm super excited to have her on the show. The first time on the show, Jill Rusk, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Joe, for having me on the show.
Thanks for coming on. We talked off air and we're like, what kind of show is this? And it's called Born Political, but most of it, the intention was to find out about the person. So you're going to ask to represent this city, this beautiful small city that's within a town that a lot of folks don't understand what the politics are, but it's something that it means a lot to you.
It does. The city of Groton is a great subdivision. We're here in the town of Groton, and we are about 3 square miles, but we have about 10,000 people. And I have lived in the city for 20 years and represented the people there for 10, and I absolutely love my community, and I'm excited about the concept of being mayor there.
Well, I think everyone else is excited about your run, but before we go deep into that, I want to talk about who you are. Like a lot of folks, I always figure everyone's a homer. I lived in New London for 27 years, and now I've been in Groton for 27 years. So my whole entire life, other than my birth, I was an Army brat, born in Germany, but came here as an infant. Don't remember anything else. But your story is different than mine because I asked if you graduated from Fitch, and the answer was no. So where were you born? Where are you from?
So I was born in Wisconsin and moved to Illinois when I was in high school, where I met my husband.
Yeah.
Went to college in Ohio, and then when we got married in '95, I moved out here with my husband. Jason was stationed here most of his 21 years in the Navy. We did live in San Diego for 3 years, but we have been Groton residents for 26 years of our
we're almost even.
Yeah, of our 30 years of marriage. And we've lived in the city for 20.
Wow. So Wisconsin, what part of Wisconsin are you from?
I'm halfway between Milwaukee and Madison in a small town called Watertown.
Watertown. All right, I haven't heard of that, but I watch all the real estate shows and people moving around the country and buying houses, and there's some spots in Wisconsin I still want to, like bucket list items for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Go Pack, go.
Ooh, that's tough. I'm a Dallas fan.
Oh, we won't talk about that.
We're not going to talk about the Cowboys tonight. This is going to be a good night. The Cowboys are hurting, but we're not going to talk about that. So elementary school, public schools?
Public school the whole way through. My dad was a teacher. My mom was a teacher. Public
Mom
school.
And brothers and sisters? Big family, small family?
I have one brother, one sister. My brother still lives in Wisconsin in the same town, and my sister lives in Illinois, so they're all in the Midwest.
Okay.
But we still...
Did something bring you guys to Wisconsin, or are you just historically, is your family kind of been rooted in there? And
my family's been there for about 4 generations in the Midwest. And yeah.
So you're a Wisconsinite. So then you graduate high school in Wisconsin.
I graduated high school in Illinois. We moved to Illinois.
You said that.
Yes.
So your whole family moved?
We all moved to Illinois when I was in high school, and that's where I met my husband. And we
lucky you. By the way, her husband, I was joking with her on the phone. I said, "You mean that gorgeous guy that I serve on a council we're on a board together?"
Yes.
And he's really a great guy, and a lot of people in town know him. A lot of he does a lot of. Both of you guys are community oriented.
We are definitely. We've been involved in a lot of committees and commissions. So Jason's on the USS Groton commission or committee. We both serve on the Bill Memorial Library Committee together. We've both been on the RTM together. Yep. So we've served on a lot of things.
Those who politic together. That's not my wife. Tammy stays as far away from politics, and she kind of she'll get mad for me and angry at someone else or happy for someone else. But to be in the mix, I don't think it's not her bag.
Sure.
You have to be able to sometimes take some criticisms. That is not easy to do. I don't want to scare you, but you already know because you've been there.
Absolutely.
So anyway, you graduate high school, and then colleges where?
Went to college in Springfield, Ohio, Wittenberg University.
Yep.
Graduated with a history and poli-sci degree. Was in high school, I did an internship, a governmental internship for half of my senior year. So that's kind of how I got involved in politics back then. After I graduated and moved out here, I got involved working in social services and served as a CPS worker for quite a few years. And then left that and worked in the mayor's office in the city of Groton. So I've actually worked in the office that I hope to serve. Yes.
Yeah, yep, that's right,
Yes.
you did. Yep.
Yes. And then now I work for a nonprofit in food to help people get food so that.
And we're in a time now where I don't want to say crisis, but I guess I could define it as a crisis because on November 5th, folks that normally have a card in their pocket that's automatically reloaded by our government through SNAP, that card will not work on Saturday. And what's that going to mean for the local region, for your nonprofit?
Sure. So food insecurity has been high in our region already. With food prices going up, it has definitely increased, but the lack of SNAP benefits starting next month will greatly increase that issue. On top of that, we have DoD employees in this region who are not getting paid. And my organization does 5 mobile food pantries in the region. So we service everywhere from Griswold down to New London, in Groton, Stonington, and Norwich. And we see numbers of like 300 families typically in Groton, and this last week we served 380 families.
Wow.
So the numbers are already increasing significantly.
25%, 30. So I was actually last night. I saw Rihanna Dice, and she works over in London. They have a food pantry that serves out of St. James Church. She didn't know exact numbers, but she could tell by how many cars were in line, and they were wrapped all around the corner, all the way down Huntington Street. It's not something that we want to see.
No.
Obviously, I think everyone's rooting for our government to reopen. Nobody wants it to be closed, but we understand there's stuff that are not in our control. What is in our control is what we can do locally.
Right.
So, like, how would someone reach out to you folks? 'Cause I know everyone's raising food and trying to, like, I'm part of one that's going to happen at Sneakers. Do you guys have places where they're going to be able to drop off to? Because we know there's a need.
Absolutely. So people can drop off to their local food pantry. So they could drop it off at Groton Human Services. They could drop it off at the Gemma Marin Food Center. Basically, if you find a place that gives out food, and you can donate food because that is definitely something that is a great need right now.
Yeah.
The
Is there
numbers are
something that
increasing
is
everywhere.
cash better?
Cash, gift cards, or food. Anything is needed. Right
I
now.
always think we're in because Community Speaks Out was talking about doing some kind of thing. We have connections with people that normally donate, people that step up, and the fear was everyone starts bringing all this food, and now we already have a board that's already overworked. It's like, okay, what are we going to do with hundreds of pounds of food, and who's going to move it? And we're thinking, should it? Because a gift card means that they go to a food bank and they fill up what they can get there, but then supplement the things that we're missing.
Right.
So maybe a gift card from. So we're trying to think of which way to go. So maybe this is me asking you questions. I'm asking
No,
you.
but food insecurity is on everybody's mind right now.
It is.
It's really important, and it's only going to get worse if SNAP benefits are cut.
Yeah.
DoD employees, again, aren't getting paid. So we have people who are greatly in need, and they don't know where their next meal is coming from. And it's really important that we take care of our neighbors.
It is. And I'm going to back up because we didn't learn enough about you just yet because I had you in the college days, but
Okay.
and you chose a major, and everyone chooses a major for a reason. A lot of folks that I've interviewed folks that were cops and their uncle was a cop or dad was a cop and they became a cop. Your parents are school teachers. You
Yes.
somehow got involved in government and public policy. Is it because did they have that influence on you, or what was it?
So I really think when I was an intern in high school, I worked for the Department of Children and Families in Illinois in the Legislative Liaison Division.
As a high schooler?
As a high schooler, I was an intern. Illinois Governmental Internship Program was available at the time. It no longer exists, but it was a wonderful one-semester program where I lived in Springfield, Illinois, and worked in the government.
Wow.
So I started with that, and then kind of fell out of politics for a long time. And it's who you end up sitting next to. So at some point, I was at a police appreciation dinner for one of my foster parents who was a police officer in the city of Groton. He invited me to his awards banquet because he was being honored. And I happened to sit next to Marion Galbraith, who I had no idea was the mayor.
Who is Marion Galbraith?
Marion
She's
Galbraith.
been on this show.
It's fantastic. She's also involved in everything, but at the time was the city of Groton mayor. And she sat next to me, and as Marion does, she said, "What do you do? How can we get you involved in the city?" And so I started there and was on the youth advisory board in the city of Groton. So we were looking for things for middle schoolers to do in the city and trying to make sure that they had activities and were engaged. And it went from there to my neighbor knocking on my door saying, we would like you on city council. There was somebody who passed away that was elected on city council, and there was an open seat. And I said, I don't think I'm your girl. And they said, no, we really think you are. And so I went in and talked to them, and we had a great conversation. And I thought, you know what, this is a one-time opportunity that you don't say no to. If somebody's asking you to serve your community, you serve. And I had the caveat of, if I don't like doing this, I'm not going to continue after this 2-year stint. But I did. I loved it, and I served on the city council for 4 years, and only left when I went to work in the mayor's office. And then I served on the RTM for 4 years and was nominated by the RTM members to be the moderator for 2 years, which was an amazing experience.
I think everyone should experience that. And funny enough, you have the opportunity here in Groton because there's usually always a board, commission, RTM seat, run for council, like all these ways that you can serve. I love the fact that Marion gets everybody involved in everything.
She does.
Right now, I'm in the middle of the Groton Sale Foundation, as well as your husband. I'm guessing she recruited. Same way.
Same way.
So to have a role model in politics and have it be Marion and her be the one to ask you, there's a lot to be said because she doesn't just ask anybody. She doesn't. I think she probably saw some of the same thing that the folks that knocked on your door asking to be on the council saw in you. So I know they're very excited about that. So now. We haven't even talked about where you are now with your family, because I think, we talked about your brother and sister. Where did you line up in that? Were you oldest?
The baby.
You're the baby.
I'm the baby.
I'm the middle. Everyone says that's a natural political position to be in.
Okay.
Right? You got an older brother and a little sister, and you kind of make peace, and that's not always the case in every family. But I do think your negotiating skills get pretty good because your brother can beat you up. And your older brother and your sister is 5 years younger, so you got to kind of almost be like a babysitter at that. 5 years difference is pretty big. So that's my story. But you being the youngest, are you by far youngest, or are you guys close?
We're all 2.5 years apart. So my brother's 5 years older than me. My sister's 2.5 years older than me. So closer to my sister, just because of age and
because you got to go to school with her.
Right.
Because 5 and 6 years, I never went to the same school as my sister.
Right.
So that's actually a big difference. And then you're in Ohio, and you chose Ohio.
I chose Ohio because of the program and the school. Just fell in love with the school and had 4 great years there. Wouldn't trade it for the world. Went home for a year to my family's house, and then got married and moved out to Connecticut.
To Connecticut. Welcome to
Connecticut. Exactly.
So fast forward, here you are in Connecticut, and I got to tell you, if you're going to serve this community in particular, having the experience of being a military spouse, raising, and also having children in this community. Now, did they get to stay in the school system the whole time? Did you guys move around?
So we moved for 3 years. We were out in San Diego. We moved back here when our oldest was 5. So she started kindergarten here, went all the way through Fitch High School. Our youngest 2 started here in preschool and went all the way through. I've got an older daughter and then twins. My twins are 25. My oldest is 28.
Is that 4 children you just counted?
3.
3, okay.
28 and twins that are 25.
I can't count. That's what I was
That's okay.
I'm not great with numbers, I guess.
Yeah.
So 3 children and twins.
And twins, yes.
We had one set in our family, my 2 uncles. But how's that?
Fantastic.
Wouldn't
trade it for the world. They are best friends, and that is the best thing.
How was changing 2 diapers of 8 or 10 diapers a day?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
That was? You remember that?
Yes, I do.
Those days happen. So from kindergarten all the way through, all your children went through the Fitch schools?
They went to Isaac for 3 years.
Oh, Isaac, over in New London?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Fitch High School?
Fitch High School. And then my oldest went to UConn. My youngest went to school out of state, and then, or I'm sorry, my middle child went to school out of state. My youngest went to school here at the state level. Yeah.
And then going back to being a spouse, I get to perform all these marriages, and you've been joining me.
I love that.
And it's one of my great pleasures. And somebody texted me again right before I got here that they're asking me if I can marry them. It's usually Navy couples, usually in a very tight timeline, because they're trying to get insurance and they're trying to get housing set. So there's a lot of things, moving parts. And the one thing that I kind of pride myself on was, being from New London, we didn't experience the military like they do. And even in Groton, even though it's a bridge right away, most people, Navy housing is on this side.
Right.
Most of the kids go to school on the side. Here and even up in Ledyard, it seems like they stay close to the base. Knowing that, you got lucky, I think, to be able to stay the whole time. That's kind of rare. But the pressures of your spouse being gone for months at a time, and right, he was on. Was he a subsailor? He was.
He was a subsailor, so he would be gone up to 6 months at a time. We made choices to stay here when Jason. We were discussing getting out when we were leaving San Diego, and it was after 9/11. It wasn't. For us, it wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right feel for us to leave service for our country.
Yeah.
So we chose to stay in and move back here, which is the closest we could get to home in the Midwest. And so we chose to stay here. And my husband made some hard choices to make sure that he stayed here. We did a year that he geo-bachelored down in Virginia so that we could keep the kids in the school here, because Groton became their home.
Yeah.
And has become all of our home. This is where we
Yes.
live. This is what my children always know, and this has become the community that we really truly love. And that's why we're so involved and invested here, because Groton opened their heart to us, and we just want to give back as much as we can.
Yeah, and I think having someone at the helm that's been through it in a bunch of different ways. You've moved around the country, and I just knew that, especially when I coached baseball is where I really learned it. Because I coached basketball in New London, and I played sports in New London. That's where I was from. My daughter and my son had lost friends and gained friends all in the same year. Kids that were on the team, ready to go, all excited for the season. And then I get a call from dad that, hey, I got orders changed.
Yeah.
And we didn't know this was coming, but here we are. My MO was completely different, and my family was from Virginia anyway, so we're all leaving. And I just think of this kid that's driving away where, it's actually, we don't think of our children as having loss, because we say they're just kids. But I can tell you, from my grandson and being able to, I'm from the 30,000 foot view now. Before, when I was 30 years old and my kids were complaining about something, I didn't really sympathize with them.
Right.
And now when my grandson tells me that he's sad or he misses something or something, one of his really good friends moved to Westerly recently, and he took it very hard. We forget that they are as much human as we are, and they have about the same amount of understanding, except we understood that, Dad got called down to Virginia. If that sailor was my good friend, I'd be sad, but I'd understand. He just knows his friend disappeared.
Right.
And that is not easy to navigate.
That's part of why we bought our house, was because we were living in Navy housing, and our oldest daughter was in elementary school, and her kindergarten best friend moved. Her first grade best friend moved. So we wanted that stability for our kids.
Yep.
Deciding that we were going to try to stay in Groton for the rest of his career and beyond, we wanted to make sure our kids had some stability. And so we moved into the city of Groton, and they have great friends in their neighborhood. And
I think this is why, and you're in the middle of the run, you're knocking on doors. Every time I see you, your phone's to your ear because there's something coming up and you have to meet someone somewhere else. And that's going to be your life. Obviously there'll be an election coming up on Tuesday.
Yes.
We wanted to talk a little bit about early voting, and my phone went down, but we know it's 10 to 6, right?
10 to 6, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. You can still vote early at the community center, districts 2 and 3, so that's the city of Groton. Also vote there for early voting. And then come Tuesday, you can vote at the municipal building and at Thames River Magnet School.
Yeah, and what's exciting to me is, and I think from the outside looking in, we know who both of you are.
Right.
It's you and your husband. I've never met your kids, but I've seen you at so many different events, and so much. And it's not even the events; it's getting to talk to you and know who you are, and know that. Again, people say, "God, are people ready for this job?" It's a big job. mayor of the city is a big job. And I think off air, I told you, I went down to Washington and I got to see some big decisions being made. And I realized that it only comes down to what your values are.
Yes.
And if you really love your community, if we have the right person in, that they're going to make the right decision. And I think that's what I think most people want to find out about their candidate. You know, I feel like I have that feeling. I know people watching this must be thinking the same thing, because your story matches up with so many people in our community, like being a spouse. And, you know, so we have big plans for Groton City. I know everyone will come up to me, even as a council, and say, Joe, why aren't they fixing up this building or that building? And the answer usually is, well, we don't own it.
Correct.
And the city has a street on Thames called Thames that goes along the river that everybody always asks, why is it this building never been touched, or that building? What's the answer to that? And what do you have any solutions for that? Or
Sure. So Thames Street has been problematic for many years.
Yeah.
We have some absentee landlords who have not been incentivized, or aren't incentivized, let me rephrase that, to make some progress. So I'm really hoping that we can come in and give them a good incentive to either build up their buildings or sell it to somebody who will, so that we
Yeah.
can start making progress on Thames Street. It's not going to be an overnight solution. There's no quick solution for Thames Street,
Yeah.
but we need to start chipping away at it more and more. And there are great businesses down there, and we need to bring people down there to take advantage of those businesses.
And I think people have this assumption too when they say, oh, this person owns this building and they don't care. I think that's the opposite a lot of times. I think sometimes they hold on to it because they bought it with these great dreams or intentions, and that they wanted to create whatever business was going to happen, and for whatever reason didn't work out.
Right.
The fact that they still own it, to me, a lot of times signals that they still want to do something, or because there's,
Right.
there's, how many friends I have that have an old car in the garage that's going to get redone.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
and it stays in the garage and it stays old, but it's something that their dream is tied to. And sometimes I think when the right leader comes along, if you can sometimes get them in the room together and talk about what that could look like, without them, absent them, or with them.
Or with them.
And-
Absolutely.
And I think that's, again, just the brief conversation I had off camera with you kind of led me to believe that that's kind of the path you want to take. And it's the only path, because like the city doesn't own the land. And
Right.
and the funny thing too is the dreamers, there's a million people that say, it should go there. And the bottom line is, and this, it all comes, most folks don't know the ROI, the return on investment. Because
Correct.
everything sounds good, but if you are putting your money into a building or business, you need to know that you're going to get paid back.
Right.
Otherwise, it doesn't really matter. And so there's incentives that you can do, and then there's some things you can't. But what can you do? Like, I know there's TIF funding that you can work with, and
Right. So that is in a TIF district.
all of Thames Street.
Most of Thames, yes, all of
I
Thames
know.
Street, I believe.
I think so too.
Sorry, yes, I believe all of Thames Street is in a TIF district, so that is a way that we can help push forward. And then some common sense zoning changes. I know that there's some zoning regulations that are caught up in a legal battle right now, and I'm not comfortable talking about them. I would like to, wait until the decision is made by the judge. But I feel like we don't need high rises on Thames Street, but we need to start making some ability for people to develop their property.
Yeah,
Because you're right, they're not going to do it unless there's a return on investment.
exactly. And the Thames Street's I saw in New London they solved it with the one way. You've heard people talk about one way this, one way that. That street is so narrow that it's hard to imagine, because where do you come back out? These are going to be questions for later. And this isn't not I got you questions, but I just like throwing things out there because there's a lot that's going to happen, right? And if you get elected on Tuesday and you're going to go right to work. You've been in the office before.
I have. I worked there 3 years.
Yeah.
I worked there 3 years during COVID, so things were
Oh, the
changing
best 3
very
years.
quickly. Every day, yes, every day things were changing. But it was great. I mean, I truly love working for city residents. I loved the employees that I worked with. It's a great place to work, and really my goal is to hear what the residents have to say,
Yep.
their concerns, what they envision the city for and to be, and let's move forward in that direction.
Yeah.
Something else I've heard a lot is green space, that we don't have enough green space that's usable for residents, and I would love to expand some of our parks in different areas so that everybody can walk to a park. I read a survey recently that said if you're more than 5 minutes from green space, you're not going to walk. You're not going to go every day. You might go once a week.
Yeah.
I would love to get more green space that's usable for residents.
And they've done a great job. I mean, Washington Park looks
It's beautiful.
beautiful. They're working towards it. I think this on Thames Street where that wall was built near the old Abbott's. There's a small park.
Thames View Park.
Yeah.
Yes.
That looks like there's some potential there. Like some of the work's been done, but it's going to take someone, I think, with vision to get it across the goal line, and hopefully we can work with the state and
get some money for it and move for it. Well, there is money for a pier already. The concern is getting ADA compliant grading down to the pier. So we want to make sure that that's in before we put in the pier. But that should move forward, hopefully. We just need to keep moving in the right direction.
Yeah. And so how has it been on the doors? I think most people despise the doors. I think my first run, it was like, oh. And it wasn't because I don't like talking to people. It wasn't because I don't like meeting people. It was just the fact knowing that when people knocked on my door that I didn't like it. I'm sure you're well received because a lot of folks do know you. But
so I joke that it's like adult Halloween. Like you get to go knock and meet people and talk to people. And I actually like knocking doors. I'd prefer to knock on a door than talk on the phone because I want to talk to you face to face. I want to know what your concerns are. I want to, and if you don't like me, that's fine. We can talk things out. And and I've had a few of those too, where we've had a rough conversation, and some of them we've ended with, okay, I'm going to vote for you. And that's not my goal. My goal really is, let's have a conversation, see where we're at.
I think what's different about the city too, from what I see, is there's a certain amount of level of pride. Because you can go to some towns and like, oh, this town, they do this and don't do that. And you get that in the city too. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. But there's some bond. There's some kind of, it is that city within a city. It's that, you guys are tight. I get yelled at all the time when I say, oh, Groton, Groton. Oh, no, Groton City. That's in the city. Make sure. And you know that, you know that lingo well. You've been there
20 years. We've lived in the city for 20 years. Yes.
That's awesome. And we are down to I told you this happens fast. We're down to under 2 minutes, about a minute and a half. I don't know if you want to say anything about, what your candidacy, or remind people to vote, or I'll give you a few minutes here.
I just want to remind everybody to come out and vote on Tuesday. Polls are open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. I will be at either the municipal building or at Thames View Park or Thames River Magnet School. So if you have any questions, please stop by and ask me. Let me know how you feel about things. I'd love to talk to you. There's a lot of things going on in the city, so I look forward to working with you. And whether you vote for me or whether you vote for somebody else, please come out and vote. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And again, early voting is still available until tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And I'm excited. So you guys know where I stand and where I feel. I think you'll make a great mayor. I'm super excited about your candidacy. I was super excited when I first heard that you wanted to do it. Appreciative that you wanted to do it because it isn't easy. But you know what? Life isn't easy, and if you're going to make your community better, it might as well be the person you trust. And I think you should have all the faith in yourself because you can do this job. And I look forward to these next few years. And good luck on Tuesday. Guys, that's it for Born Political. This Thursday night is over, and hopefully we'll be getting some updates on what's happening with the city in this coming year because I think we're going to have a really good mayor here, and I'm looking forward to it. See you guys next Thursday. Born Political. Thank you for watching. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
That was awesome.
Thank you.